Let's see if this thing's working. Are we good? Is this happening? Is this happening? Let's see. Hi guys. Hello lovely humans. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jamie Wolfer. I'm a wedding planner based in Southern California. And in lieu of today's video, I figured we would do a live stream. I'll be totally honest though, live streams make me extremely nervous. I don't know why. We are also using some new technology today. I've got my camera plugged in. I've got my microphone plugged in. We're doing more than just my webcam. So I'm hoping that this works well. Let's see. Let's figure this out. Oh, look at you guys already coming in the comments. My cheeks are on fire right now. Also, I have yet to acknowledge this. We hit 70K people. 70,000 people. What is happening? I can't right now. Oh my goodness. Hi Cassidy. Hi Sandra. Let's see. Come to Boston to help me and my fiance, please. Harvey, I will be there in a heartbeat, my friend. I really would. I love traveling and I've never been to Boston, so that sounds like a lot of fun. So what I figured we would do with today's video is we're just going to do a Q&A. What I'd like to do is kind of focus on wedding planning in general. I know there's still going to be a lot of questions about postponing and those sorts of things because I know that's heavy on a lot of people's minds. I will say kind of from the top that I can't be quite sure what postponing looks like for everybody. So if you haven't checked out last week's video, I definitely recommend that you check that one out. Oh my goodness, you guys are going crazy in the comments right now. This is awesome. Oh, I'm lagging. No. Okay, wait. Okay, guys, let me know if I'm still lagging. I'm going to wait for a second to see if the comments pop up saying that I'm still lagging, because that's kind of annoying. Shelby, you just got the master plan. I'm so excited for you. Okay, do me a favor and let me know in the comments. I'm looking at my computer over here. Let me know if I'm still lagging. I'll pause for a sec. Your hair looks perfect. Get out of town. You're very kind. Okay, I'm not seeing anything about lagging. So hopefully we can proceed as normal. Oh, no, I am. Dang it. What do I do? All right. All right, what I might do is I might switch over to my laptop for video. Hold on just a sec, guys. Okay, it's only lagging. Oh gosh, you guys are so kind. Thanks for helping me out with this. Okay, let's try this. All right, hold on. Thanks for bearing with me here, people. All right, let's see. Oh gosh, my husband's commenting in the chats. Thanks, babe. Appreciate it. All right, are we better now? How's this? Yeah! Boom! Nailed it! Oh, I was so bummed because like I had the fancy camera set up, but that's okay. You can see a new angle of the room now. Isn't that fun? Yay! You guys are so supportive. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do before we jump into kind of The rest of the Q&A is we're going to talk about postponing your event should you need to. Now, there's a bunch of information in last week's video. I'm going to say again that I have no idea how much this is going to change in the next handful of weeks. I would say if you're past May, I wouldn't postpone yet. Just as like a general rule of thumb for now, I don't feel like that's completely necessary. Of course, you guys have to do what you're most comfortable with. So I'm going to say hold off on postponing for now. If you feel like you need to have conversations with vendors, feel free to start those up. But also bear in mind that a lot of your vendors are going to be focused on having conversations with their current couples, the couples that are getting married in the next 8 weeks or so. So just as like a blanket disclaimer, if you're outside of that time, I don't think it's time to start talking about postponement. So hopefully that'll help you feel like a little bit better. Yes, someone just asked, are those springs from a mattress? That's actually an old crib mattress that we're using as a little photo display. All right, let's dive. You had 12 weddings postponed. Robert, I'm so sorry. Oh, I mean, at least they postponed instead of canceling. That's like the big thing that we're all clinging on to right now in the industry, I know, is really encouraging couples to postpone instead of canceling in general. Oh, Amy, you stayed up past midnight for me. You are so kind. Thank you. And you love my nails. They're press-ons. I just admitted that to the internet. That's okay. Why don't we get started with some questions? What questions do you guys have? Lisa, maybe do some trial and error if you want to use your DSLR in future lives. Yes, I know. I was going to order a capture card to make sure it was really, really seamless. This was my trial and error, so thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm trying not to order anything from Amazon right now. So maybe in the future. Let's see. Jessica asks, what are some ideas you have for making a ceremony special if you have already eloped? We don't want to trash our intricate ceremony, but we also don't want to wait a year to get married. That's a good question. I would say perhaps you can share what your elopement looked like so everyone can feel like they were there. Share about the location that you chose. I don't know. Perhaps you take a section to do a bit of I don't want to call it a story time. I don't know. That's a tough one, y'all. If you have an answer for Jessica, let her know in the comments or in the chat section right now because I don't quite know. Alyssa asks, plastic versus real plates or cups. Great question. So obviously we want to be cognizant of the amount of waste that we're creating. At the same time, I do know that renting cups and plates can be really difficult for some people because that does mean that you need someone to do tear down regardless. You need someone to clean up your plates no matter what. But when you rent them, it's not like you just put them back in a bin. They actually have to be scraped or you'll be charged per plate. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. You will need a tear down crew regardless, but it is easier to do a tear down with disposable items instead. Okay, somebody asks, how much, bridesmaids and groomsmen gifts, how much should we spend on them? We are thinking about have 7 on each side. So that's entirely up to you. I did a like $20 proposal box video forever ago, like really, really long time ago. So I might refresh that one. And those were $20. So super inexpensive. I really love the way they turned out. That's how we proposed to our bridesmaids and our groomsmen. So that's definitely worth checking out. Something, a couple little bits to eat, maybe a drink. I put plants in mine because as we know, I got a thing for plants. In fact, I have a plant tour hopefully coming up on my personal channel soon if y'all are into that kind of thing. Wait, I just saw a good one. Hold, please. I lost it. You guys, you're too on top of this chat box right now. I can't handle it. What do you think the biggest difference between organizing a backyard style wedding versus a wedding with a ton of vendors is? I think organizing a wedding with a ton of vendors is easier because especially when they all have done this before and they know what they're doing. I spend less time educating weddings with a lot of vendors. When it's a backyard event, you have to think about building a venue from scratch. So how many restrooms do you have? How many trash cans do you have? What's the lighting situation look like? Is the ground level enough for tables? There's so many things that go into building a backyard event. You can save a lot of costs. You have a lot more setup time. You have a lot more tear down time. So there's a lot of luxuries provided when you do something like that. I've done quite a few backyard events, so I'm aware of all of these things now. Again, one of my most original videos is basically about backyard weddings and things you should be looking out for, so I recommend checking that one out. I personally think that doing ones with a bunch of other vendors is actually easier. It sounds counterintuitive, but it is, because we're not building anything from scratch. Let's see. Would you plan my same-sex wedding? Christopher, of course I would. I'd be more than happy to. Okay. Okay, question. How can I get guests to leave the reception immediately after the ceremony? Several people like to linger around and take pics next to the photographer. Aunt Sally doesn't get clues. You need a wedding planner. You definitely need a wedding planner. Or you need to have photo wranglers. So people that are there to kind of help navigate and encourage people through family photos are great, because then they know who Aunt Sally is, so they can get her to join in on the photos, but they can also get her to leave. So have some people on your team ready to go, family members, friends, what have you, prepared to go up to that person and talk to that person. Another great thing that you can do is have the officiant make an announcement after the ceremony, encouraging everyone to go to the next step of the event, wherever that might happen to be. So that's always a great idea. Just make sure you have a team in place. A wedding planner is a great option. A day of coordinator is a great option. But when in doubt, you do have family members and friends who I'm sure would be more than happy to help with that. Okay, what should someone do if our venue or vendors are being stubborn in regards to postponing? The state has been canceling weddings, so it's out of our control. How do we approach this with the vendors? We've been getting a lot of this. We've been seeing a lot of this. I highly encourage, first of all, that you read through your contracts very carefully. Second of all, if you have some sort of legal professional that you can turn to pour over those contracts, that's a really good idea. If it's being mandated by the state, I don't believe I gotta be really careful with this. I don't believe it's legal for the vendors to keep you from postponing. I don't know. I definitely suggest seeking some legal consult on that one, because that's pretty tough. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many. Okay, wait, hold on. Carla says, adore you. I adore you. Is there a way to start at least some of the planning without an event date? If so, what are some of the things you can map out? Yes! Love this question. Okay, so I would say figure out your budget, because you only have what you have. You can't invent more money unless you're saving a little bit each and every month, which is also a great way to set aside more money for your event. Start looking at potential venues, just kind of get an idea of what you want to be, of what you want your event to look like, of what you want the space to feel like. And then I would say another thing that you can do is start formulating your guest list. It also doesn't hurt to start poking around on Pinterest and figuring out what your overall style is. I do want to let you guys know that the master plan would be perfect in a situation like this, especially to answer this question for you, Carla. Oh, there's an echo? Oh, sorry, my husband just came in and said there's an echo. That's super annoying. Okay. Y'all, this is... This is awesome. Great. I might end up unplugging that audio and just going straight from my computer. Let me finish that question real fast, though. So I would say the master plan is a great place for you to start, because you can get a lot of planning done, or a lot of the prep work for your brain and all of that kind of stuff done with the master plan. Do remember that you can still use the code We Got This for 50% off of 6 months, and that code's still active and will be active for a couple more weeks. All right, I'm going to switch the... Are y'all hearing an echo too? Yep, I'm seeing some echo comments. Okay, hold on. Okay, can you guys still hear me? Let's try it this way. You guys are great guinea pigs. All right, let me know if you're still hearing an echo. On the plus side, an echo laugh is really funny. Technical difficulties. Not enough plants to absorb sound. All right. All right. Okay. Harmony asked, do you have tips for brides that can't do a rehearsal at their venue? Yes, you can still practice. You can practice anywhere. What you can do is kind of memorize what some of the landmarks are there and where people can hide and describe those to your bridal party. You can also have a quick powwow before you walk down the aisle to make sure that everyone knows where they're going to be standing. This is a great opportunity for a coordinator to help handle this for you. I've done rehearsals in parking lots before. Really, it's just a matter of telling people where to point their feet, what to do with their hands. It's the hands that get everybody. They're always like Ricky Bobby style, like, I don't know what to do with my hands, you know? So you can absolutely do it in a parking lot. You can do it day of. We've done that before. It's perfectly fine. Okay. Is there anything that usually gets overlooked when you're planning a wedding by yourself? Yes, I would point you to 25 most commonly forgotten items on your wedding day. That's a video I did a while back. That's like the collection of all the things that, like, if I'm not a long-term planner with a couple, I've seen these things get forgotten. So definitely go check that one out. All right, let me load comments again. Oh, wow, you guys are awesome. Somebody asked, what is needed for an open bar? Can attendees get their own drinks? I don't recommend attendees getting their own drinks, ever. You know your guests way better than I do. Like, way better than I do. I just see there's more room for people to drink more than they should. When it comes to an open bar, I would recommend not doing completely full bar because that's going to be a lot of money that you're going to be spending getting every single type of alcohol and all the mixers that go along with it. Instead, I would choose a handful of hard alcohols and a handful of mixers that can work for each of them. I think it's best to have bartenders serve the alcohol in every single capacity, but I do know that's not always in people's budgets. So if you can hire some local servers to do that for you instead of a professional bartending company, that's always an option. But if you are going to do an open bar, I do suggest either hiring a company that brings all the alcohol for you so you don't have to worry about buying every single item, or that you have a select few types of hard alcohol and then beer and wine. Hannah asked, do you think a videographer is worth the cost? Well, first of all, your budget's your budget. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. I personally love video. Like, we're sitting here because I love video. I have watched my wedding video. I have gone back and gone over the raw footage. We had my husband's best friend come over, and we watched his entire speech and laughed. We cried so hard we were laughing. So if you have the room in your budget, I personally think it's definitely worthwhile. But if you don't have the room, you don't have the room. Okay. What if you have an uneven amount of groomsmen and bridesmaids? Personally, I don't think that's a problem. We see this happen a lot. So you have the only two times that will feel the most obvious is the walk-in and walk-out. So the processional and the recessional, and then when people are standing up front. What you can do is whatever side is less, just have them space out a little bit more. They don't have to be as packed in as tightly, so visually from the back, it feels more even. When they're walking in, you can have the groomsmen come in from the side with the groom, and the bridesmaids come down the aisle, and then when they're leaving, they could just double up if they need to. So it's less necessary to have perfect numbers at that point, or they can double up coming in as well. So you've got a couple options. Definitely space out your whatever side has a few less people, just so visually from the back, especially when the photographer gets that great shot at the back of the ceremony, it feels more even. Okay, let's keep loading comments. Y'all are great. Anna asks, how much do you tip your vendors? Great question. I have a whole video about that. Definitely search that when this live is over. Rule of thumb is, it's a little difficult to say. The only ones that you're really expected to tip are bartending companies, catering, and hair and makeup. Those are the most expected ones. I don't think I'm forgetting any right now. The rest are more like, cool if you do, but you don't have to. The best thing that you can do to tip your vendors, you ready for this? I'm going to go on a little bit of a vendor soapbox moment, is leave them a good review.
just go onto whatever website or whatever platform they host their reviews and leave a good review for them. And also word of mouth is so powerful. It's so good for all of us vendors, especially right now. Even if you're already married, go back and review your vendors. Tag them in posts, share them on social media right now when so many of them are such small businesses. They're hurting. So anything that you can do to give them free advertising or some good words would be really great. Do you recommend providing late night bites if in the budget, or are they largely not eaten because people are getting their boogie on? Late night bites are, y'all, people go crazy over late night bites. They love them. They absolutely love them. You will have less people at that point in the evening. It's a luxury. You don't need to have it. So if anyone's watching this being like, wait, I'm supposed to have that? Absolutely not. No one's going to expect it. But if it's something really fun, like an In-N-Out truck or pizza or something along those lines, people actually really do gravitate towards it. You just need to take into account how many people could have left at that time, and I would ask that catering person specifically what they suggest for that time. All right. How many weeks should guests have to RSVP? That is a fantastic question, Layla. I usually recommend about 4 weeks. Anything longer than that, guests are going to kind of disregard. So if you give them 8 weeks to RSVP, your RSVP date's probably going to be 30 days or 4 weeks before your event. You're still going to be chasing down people. Like, if you guys have already sent out your invitations, you know what I'm talking about. You know that you're going to be chasing down people because they just haven't RSVP'd in time. So 4 weeks is a good rule of thumb, about 30 days. If your wedding is on July 15th, have them RSVP by June 15th, and it should give you enough time in those last few weeks to chase everybody down who hasn't replied yet. Piper Lynn said, I just came out to my family before my wedding invitation went out. Only my wedding party has RSVP'd. I'm scared no one will show. I wish we could DM about the RSVP rules in the current world situation. Can I just take a moment to hug you? Because what you did was a big deal. And I'm sorry that you're not receiving the response that you had hoped for, that you had wished for. If this is something you want to continue to have a conversation about, I would love to schedule a consultation with you. Because this is a lot, and this isn't, I don't know if it's something that you want to keep sharing here right now, but just from my heart to yours, I'm so sorry, and I'm going to pray for the best for you, because that's a lot. Natasha asked, is it okay to have a videographer and a photographer? Heck yeah, girl! Absolutely. You can totally do that. What are you seeing with your June brides? Cancellations. I have had one cancellation, or not cancellation, I've had one postponement for June. This one has some unique circumstances though. The bride's family is almost entirely in Taiwan, so they were concerned about them being able to travel because of that. And this postponement happened before any sort of government mandates had come out. So they basically saw everything coming and they were like, okay, we just don't know if people can get here. They also wanted to keep in mind the groom's father is older. So that was another reason why they chose to postpone. This is in no way me saying that you do need to postpone. Half of the guest count was coming from out of the country. So I can understand the reasoning for that one, but I think this will not apply. As of right now, I don't think it'll apply for a lot of you. Davina asked, Evites versus paper. Any pros or cons? I happen to think Evites are great. They are way less expensive. You're going to have to track down addresses no matter what, whether that be home addresses, like mailing addresses, or email addresses. So I like the idea of the digital ones. I personally, you guys know, I love a well-made invitation. So if that's still your jam, it's okay. I don't see it being bad either direction, though. You might run into a few people who are more used to paper invitations not really liking a digital invitation. So you can either send them a paper one specifically or just send them a digital one and follow up with a phone call. It's up to you. Jill asked, what time is a good time to end your reception? So I'm going to hedge this with, like, I typically work weddings in the States, and most of the time the weddings that I work end up being around 6 hours. I know a lot of different cultures will have full day celebrations going till 3 a.m. So I'm going to, like, hedge that with this. Like, it depends on your culture, obviously. With the weddings we typically work, let's say you start at 4, usually it end about 10, maybe 11 o'clock at night. Cassie asked, when should someone start planning a wedding? I know a lot of people that start planning before they're even engaged. So it's up to you. There's no rule of thumb here. You can start investigating, you start looking into styles that you like, venues that you like. You can kind of start planning whenever you want to. You just would need to keep in mind that sometimes prices will change over time. So that's the only thing. And style can change too. Christopher said, you should go live more. I'm living for this. Honey, I'm living for this too. Charlene asked, open bar etiquette. Can you ask the bartenders not to serve shots? Absolutely. We work at a lot of venues that don't allow shots at all. It's I will say sometimes if I want to order a drink neat, if I've attended a wedding, not working, because that's a big no-no. But if I've attended a wedding, sometimes they won't even allow that. It has to be mixed with something. So totally normal, totally okay. You don't have to serve shots. Wow, you guys are awesome in here. Okay. Oh, Allison. Okay, I do get asked this question a lot. How do you honor past family members without the wedding feeling like a funeral? I would say, one, do whatever you want. Do absolutely whatever you want. There are in-memory tables where people will have printed photos and a sweet little poem that says, we know you'd be here today if heaven wasn't so far away. That's always a great way of doing that. You can include them in a speech or a toast. You can have a moment of silence in your ceremony to honor those that aren't with you. You can reserve a seat. I've had a bride place a photo of her grandmother on one of the chairs and then had an extra little floral piece made for that chair because she wanted to honor the seat that her grandmother would have been sitting in. So plenty of ideas. Do whatever you're comfortable with. It's not going to end up feeling like a funeral because people are there to celebrate you no matter what. But little touches here and there can be so impactful. Esther asks, as the maid of honor, what's the best advice you can give to regroup the bridesmaids when we have to postpone the shower? Replan and also calm my sister, the bride. First of all, Esther, I'm so sorry. That's a lot to manage. It's just so much to try to figure out everyone's schedules. Like, just planning schedules in general is really hard, so I feel for you. I would say give it a few weeks before you try to rally the troops again. Because I know emotions are all over the place. So give it a few weeks, and then a great way to communicate, if you haven't done so already, is some sort of group chat through whatever platform you want to use. And really start marking dates on the calendar of what works for other people. As far as calming down your sister, you know her way better than I do. I would encourage her to remember why she's doing this. Encourage her and let her know that she's found her favorite person. And she's going to get married and it's going to be great. So just do your best to ground her in those things in whatever way you know will reach her best. How much to book you for a wedding in Georgia? No luck getting a wedding planner here. Kim, I would love to come to Georgia. You can always contact us on our website. We do have travel fees. In my experience, out of state, usually the travel fees alone, and this is just to cover costs of travel. This isn't like, we're not making anything off it. Usually it starts around $2,000. So it's definitely not in everybody's budget, and I am not asking to be everyone's out-of-state planner because I know that doesn't work for everyone. But we go out of state quite a few times, and we love it. It's just, again, not cheap. Jasmine asked, should I take time to have a massage on the day of? I don't know, because when I have massages, like the very few times I've had a professional massage, I'm like sleepy afterwards. So I don't know if I'd say day of. I probably wouldn't do that, but that's just me, especially because they get like oil up near your hair, you know, when they're working on the back of your neck. I probably would pass on that. All right, I'm going to keep scrolling. What time is it? It's already 5:30? What the heck, you guys? Okay, let's go for a little bit longer. Should we go for a little bit longer? I think we should go for a little bit longer. Okay, see a lot of people asking for an elopement style wedding video. I'm gonna be totally frank with you guys. I've never done an elopement. So what I would have to do is I'd have to do some research onto what those look like, and then kind of come up with something for you. But I just want to be totally clear, I've never done anything like that. Becca said, love you, Jamie. I live in Riverside. Wish we could grab coffee sometime. Girl, we're like neighbors. You're like right down the street. But I don't think we're going to be grabbing coffee with anybody anytime soon. Sorry, too soon? Courtney asked, we don't have a coordinator. What do we do about cleanup before the grand exit so that all of our things we need to take when we leave are already packed up and ready to go after the sparkler send-off? Courtney, this is a great task to pass off to bridal party. Find someone who's responsible in your group who you can say, hey, I know you're going to have all your wits about you night of. Can you gather up these things and get them ready for us? And either put them in the car that you guys are leaving in or get them ready if you are having an Uber showing up. Have you seen tacos at a reception? Yeah, I had tacos at a reception. It was great. People loved it. Cassie, no, you were too cute. Danielle asks, is DIYing your florals a bad idea? No, I DIY'd mine. However, if it's not your thing, it could be very stressful. So I recommend grabbing a couple bouquets and practicing because you don't want the first time you're working with florals to be like days before your event. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. There's plenty of options out there that are there to help you. There's like 50flowers.com where you can buy flowers wholesale. Or there's Bloom Culture. She will actually have a consultation with you, tell you what she sees in your floral vision, and help you figure out ordering the specific formula of all your stuff. So if you guys are considering using Bloom Culture, or if you're considering DIYing florals, definitely look into Bloom Culture. Is a mac and cheese bar weird to have? Cindy, absolutely not. You better invite me to your wedding. I want a mac and cheese bar. Okay. Reception dress required? Absolutely not. I stayed in my same dress the whole time because I loved that thing so much. And also we didn't have money for a second dress, but that's okay. No, reception dress is not required at all. Is doing your own wedding cake a common thing? I love making cakes and I see it as a great way to cut costs. Not common. No, not impossible, but you will need to figure out someone to transport it for you. If you've dealt with cakes a lot, then you know they require a little extra care. So transporting it, making sure it's well stabilized is a great idea. And also stuff like, buttercream, especially if you've worked with it a lot. It can melt pretty easily, so the prep work of making sure it's either frozen or kept quite chilled so it doesn't melt when it gets to location. So there's a lot of logistics that go into it. If you are familiar with baking, I don't think it's a crazy idea, but definitely worth practicing and thinking through all of the steps. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions. You guys, my cheeks are on fire right now. Is bride expected to pay for hair and makeup of bridal party? I think it's a cultural thing. At least in my experience, no. Yes and no. If you were requiring they have it done, you should pay for it. If you were offering to have it done, they have the option of paying for it. Oh gosh, what did my husband say about mac and cheese? Babe, you're here to moderate, not comment on your food thoughts. Okay, Valerie, I've seen this question a few times. I'm so sorry I haven't gotten to you yet. What are your thoughts on all-inclusive venues? I love them. They're fantastic. They are going to cost you a little bit more, but it also means there's a chance they could cost you a little bit more, but it also means that you might be doing less work. So it depends on how busy you are. And how much time you have to devote to planning out all of the details versus how much money you need to save. So you can shop around a little bit. So if you shop around for a lot of vendors, you could potentially save costs, but it does cost you more time. Does that answer your question? I got a little scattered. I apologize. Harmony, what should bridal party do with their hands? Great question. I always tell, I'm just going to use terms bridesmaids and groomsmen, just as an example. So bridesmaids, I tell them to hold their bouquets at their belly buttons. We're not Von Trapp family singers, and we're not going too low. So like right at your belly button's usually a good spot. For groomsmen, I usually tell them to take one hand and put it over one wrist. And all, we want continuity out of that. So it could be all right hands on left wrists or all left hands on right wrist, and tell them if they have a fancy watch, they can scoot their hand up a little bit and kind of show it off. But as long as they all look the same, that's perfectly fine. As far as the feet are concerned, I usually recommend they angle at about 45 degrees, so they don't point to the crowd, they don't point directly to the couple. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Ooh, Noelle, HoneyBook, aisle planner, or Dubsado for wedding planners. I personally use HoneyBook. I love HoneyBook. I love their interface. Sorry for everyone who's a bride, has no idea what I'm talking about. These are all programs that we can use to organize and plan on the back end. So personally, I am a huge fan of HoneyBook. And in fact, I have a referral code. Hey, that could get you, I think, some money off. I'll try to leave that in the description box when we're done with all this. Valerie, you are welcome, my sweet friend. Oh, Allie, you're so kind to even ask that. Some close friends just had to cancel their reception. How can I love on them right now? FaceTime. Get on FaceTime or house party. Host a long distance movie night or a trivia game. Some sort of way to just connect with them and do something silly and fun. Perhaps you guys enjoy a glass of wine together, because I know, obviously, with social distancing and everything, you can't be right next to them. But some way to maybe distract them for a little bit, and then just encourage them that you're going to be there for them when things pick back up again. Noelle, I love you. You're so welcome. Also, if you guys are, if you're vendors, tomorrow on the Union podcast, Heather and I are talking about how small businesses can kind of bounce back during this time and what we can be doing. So if you're not already subscribed to the Union podcast, which is the podcast that I have with Heather Laurie Fear of The Wedding Hacker, I mention it rarely here on this channel, but it's definitely more geared to small business. There is a lot of stuff that can help couples too. So go check that out. But Noelle, I think you'll really appreciate that one. Nicole asked, master plan versus coordinator, rent/fiance out of town. I'm not quite sure what that question means, my friend. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could help. If you're trying to figure out whether you would get the master plan or a coordinator, my guess is a coordinator is going to be more expensive, so the master plan is definitely cheaper, especially with the current code. So I would say go for that. There are tips on how to figure out how to have someone else coordinate your event in the master plan as well. Piper, thank you for your kindness. You make me believe in good people exist. I loved your boozy Q&A with Elias. You're an amazing human. Okay, you guys, if you don't follow my personal channel, first of all, get over there. My husband and I decided to have a Q&A with some drinks in our hands, and I laughed so hard I cried, even while editing it. So if you're looking for a nice little distraction, go check out my second channel. And also, my husband will kill me if I don't mention this. He just started a channel too, so good for that. Just hit 100 subs over there, probably a few more at this point. So if you want to check him out, look, so much content for you guys. Lots of stuff going on. Megan asked, is a giant charcuterie board, cocktails, and cookie milk bar enough food for guests? That kind of comes across as more of an appetizer-only reception. So it will likely be a smidgen bit shorter if you're not feeding people a full meal. You'll want to organize the event so that it doesn't exactly land at a meal time, so people can eat either before or afterwards. And also let them know that a meal will not be served. It's not going to be as filling. You will have to go very heavy on the appetizers and the cookie and milk bar. And bear in mind that people might be drinking more if there isn't food. So just something to kind of think about. I love appetizer-only receptions. They can be a little bit shorter. And if they're around a mealtime, some people might bounce out to go get some actual food. Food for thought, pun intended. Maggie asked, tips for vows and changing outfits after first dance. Okay. I would say, gosh, vows are tough. I've even gone as far as to like write vows for a bride before. Don't tell anybody I said that though. Okay, it's our secret. Honestly, you'd probably do really well to Google that and figure out what's a good framework if you're feeling nervous about it. Or maybe I will do the Googling for you and kind of compile my results into a video. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Changing outfits after the first dance. So it depends on where your first dance lands. If you have it before dinner, you can do your first dance and then everyone sits down for dinner and you just sneak out and go change and then come back. And if it's first dance and then boom, boom, boom the rest of the night, look to see if your coordinator and or DJ can create a lull for you to go ahead and change. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's already been 40 minutes. You guys, this is crazy. It feels like no time has passed at all. Okay, Leah, I see your question. Sweetheart table versus head table, pros and cons. Okay, so first of all, think about the kind of people you are. Do you want to have people right next to you? Or do you want to be by yourselves? A friend of mine specifically chose a sweetheart table because she gets overwhelmed when she's around a lot of people. So she wanted to have that like private moment with her and her husband. Second thing to consider is how large is your bridal party? If you have a very large bridal party, and it's ideal with the head table to have everybody on one end. And not have anyone sitting in front of you. So if your bridal party's huge, you could have a massive, massive head table. So be aware of the space that you have there. And it also depends on the style of it. What do you want to do? So like for us, I'm clearly a people person. I like people a lot. But as far as where our space was for where our reception was, we didn't have room for a head table. And we had a huge bridal party. So we just stuck with a sweetheart table that actually conveniently and funnily enough is our kitchen table. So that's kind of fun. Would you ever do a Patreon? I've thought about it, but I've got so many platforms going on right now. That feels like a lot. And plus, do people use Patreon? Is that still a thing? I don't know. Hannah asked, any chance you'd consider making more than one video per week? Live for your videos and would love more content to binge, especially while social distancing. Well, right now, I'm currently putting out 2 videos a week. So I've got this one, or like this channel, and then I have my second channel. So we've got multiple videos already coming out a week. So I think it'd be pretty dang hard to do that, especially because all 3 kids are home and we're homeschooling and I already work from home. It's a lot. So definitely check out. I feel like I'm just pimping out my second channel this whole time. But hey, like if you want more content, it's there. It's just not going to be wedding specific. So right now, I don't think I have time to do more than 1 video a week. And content is always a struggle. You guys, coming up with content is always really difficult. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to do more than 1 video per week because then I'm going to run out of ideas. And I don't want to run out of ideas, you know? Jeanette asked, if my wedding is in late July, should I cancel the wedding now or wait until May? Wait. Just wait. We have no idea what this will look like. Just wait. Can you post a quarantine day in the life vlog? Yeah, actually. Well, we plan on filming one that's really soon. It'll just be on the other channel. Aw, Hannah, I love your second channel too. Thanks for answering. You're welcome, sweet friend. Master plan question. Is there a time when it is kind of too late to subscribe to the master plan? I want to buy it, but we already have planned a lot of things. Thanks for all the help. It kind of depends on how far you are. The last few modules are very detail heavy and will help you kind of organize all of your last minute stuff to make sure that you are, you have all your ducks in a row. So I would say, especially with the current promotion going on, sorry, there's something floating in the air. For $99.50, even if you have 4 months left or 3 months left and a lot of the beginning portion of the master plan isn't necessarily applicable, it might still be worth getting it. Again, I have no idea where you're at. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to get it. I love it, clearly. I'm a huge advocate of the program. But it just depends on how far you feel like you are. If you don't have a coordinator, I still think there's a bunch of value in those last few modules. especially less than $100 worth. All right, guys, I think we'll probably be wrapping this up soon because this is going to be really long, and I promised my husband to be 30 minutes, and he's moderating for me, so... and Alyssa, my assistant's moderating too. Okay, should we reschedule if activities should be canceled? Bridesmaid, groomsmen outfits, dresses not arrive on time. You can always get new dresses. Obviously, we don't want people to be out a lot of money, so look into refund options or return options. I know a lot of companies are being really, really flexible about that right now. So I don't think Attire is worth postponing things for or canceling things for. Ashley asked, is it ever too far in advance to buy the master plan? I don't think so. Because once you have the knowledge, you have the knowledge. So I don't think it's too far in advance, because part of it is learning how to plan your wedding instead of just being told how to plan your wedding. So in the master plan, and like what I like to try to do on this channel, is I explain why. Like why you make these choices, why you do these things. So I would say I don't think it's too early. So if you have an 18-month engagement and you want to get 12 months access, perfectly fine. And if it expires 6 months before your wedding day, I think you're good. I think you'll have learned all the stuff you need to know, and you can download the spreadsheets and the PDF. So those are yours to keep forever. And you just won't need to go back to the modules. So I don't think it's too early to get it. All right, I'm going to give this 3 more minutes. And then we're going to end it. Oh, great. Now the comment box goes off. Also, shout out to everyone who's watching this afterwards when this is not a live stream. Allison, yes, he started his channel. It's live. My husband started it. He tells a story about the time he chased a pack of raccoons. It's just the kind of content the world needs today, am I right? Including my fiance's kids. He has 3. What about the reception, sweetheart table, them at, or something else? Great question. In my experience, kids might get a little bored at the table with you guys. You know them way better than I do. If they would feel treasured to be there, great. If they couldn't care less, then maybe sitting with grandma and or grandpa could be a way better solution, because they can get kind of antsy, and they may not want to. They may not want to sit up there and smile and wave the whole time. Oh, Marilyn! I love yours and Elias's videos. I did this last time, buy a coffee on me when it's safe to go out. You know what? You're a gem. I appreciate that. When I'm allowed, I'm for sure gonna get a chai, an iced chai with an extra pump and a shot of espresso. It's great. You're a doll. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it here. Laura asked you only answer super chat questions. Nope, I've been answering a ton of questions. Noelle, the master plan for up-and-coming wedding planners. Yes, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Honestly, one of the reasons I created it. Shout out to Boston, please. Chris, you got it. Shout out to Boston. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it. This has been really fun. If you guys liked it, let me know. Hop in the chat box and say that you want to keep doing this. Chelsea, you are the absolute best. Chantal, you are so welcome. Okay, guys. I missed a super chat. Look, Tom, I missed a lot of chats, okay? There's a lot going on. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending some time with me and for hanging out. My cheeks hurt. This has been good. This has been real. This has been fun. If you haven't done so already, give this video a like. Let me know if you liked doing this kind of thing. Okay. Alright. Oh, what's your other channel name? Sally, thank you for asking. It's The Jamie Wolfer. All one word. And I think it's linked in the description box too. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday night. Thank you. I'm gonna go put on some pajamas because I don't know where I put on real clothes. I'm not going anywhere. Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye. Yes, Victoria. Time to go watch Elias's raccoon video. What a note to end on. Bye, guys.